This show is what we made it. Obi-Wan Kenobi, episode 3. We're 3 episodes in, halfway through. Let's dig into this.
Yeah, man. Sorry I missed the last episode, but your guest star and you were great. It made me definitely. I've talked about it for years. I went to a very early celebration. I want to say 3 or 4 back in the day. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away before before
the dark times.
Before the dark times. But I definitely am going to Celebration after listening to you guys talk about that.
Yeah,
cool.
I'm really mad. Like I was telling him, I'm mad at myself that, because I saw it coming around. Again, this would have been 2 years ago now. I saw it coming around. I'm like, Celebration in Anaheim. It's a Disneyland. I can go to Galaxy's Edge.
Right.
I love Disneyland.
Yeah.
It's a perfect fit, right? And I just didn't have the money for it at the time. So I'm like, well, screw it. And then it got postponed.
We got to do it next year.
And I didn't buy tickets. Then it got postponed again, and I didn't rebuy tickets. And man, what a perfect time to be a Star Wars fan at Celebrations.
Yeah.
There's so much that they just announced at this. We'll talk about it later.
Well, the early one I went, they've always had something cool. Years and years ago when I went, they had the Han Solo and Carbonite there. They had Jeremy Bullock was there. I had a Boba Fett helmet signed.
Right.
It was a great, always a great experience.
Yeah.
But yes, dude, Obi-Wan Kenobi. I've been working graveyard shifts, but which is the good thing about it is I could. The bad thing is I couldn't get to do this show.
Right.
The good thing is about it is
you get off work and you can watch Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Exactly. I get once a week. In fact, tomorrow I'll get to wake up or before I go to bed. I'll be closing up shop and be ready for that new hit of Kenobi. And man, so much to talk about, dude.
Yeah. This show, I know there's criticism. There's going to be criticism over every Star Wars anything.
The expectation level is so high.
It's a fandom thing.
And you guys went over it in the last episode.
This show is, for me, it's crushing it. This is exactly what I wanted from an Obi-Wan Kenobi show.
Right.
It's giving us just the right amount of fan service. It's giving us just the right amount of new stuff. It's subverting our expectations. I mean, they killed the Grand Inquisitor. Where do we go from there? Is it changing canon? Is it not changing canon?
Which, by the way, he's not dead. He's not dead, by the way. I mean, you should know this by now, but if you're worried about the Grand Inquisitor, if you're like, why did they even introduce that guy if he's going to be killed? No.
He just couldn't be important in the show.
Right. Well, and it's obviously a theme that they're doing in Star Wars is it's almost like ranking up in the dark side. You have to, Grievous, started with General Grievous, and then obviously all built around Vader. But, as you get literally and visually less of you being human.
Right.
Same thing with Cad Bane.
Yeah.
More of you gets replaced.
So what we're saying is that in Star Wars, the only person that can actually die is Han Solo.
Is Han Solo dead?
I still swear that Han Solo lived. He fell down.
Did you see him actually hit the ground? I think he's chilling with Mace Windu.
No, I'm pretty
he's
sure.
He's chilling with Mace Windu.
I'm pretty sure he pulled a Death Star 1. He pulled a Cloud City.
Mace
he fell down the garbage chute. He landed in a trash compactor. Han Solo got out.
Yeah.
That was a Force vision that Kylo saw from across the galaxy of Han Solo.
It's the same thing with Marvel. Star Wars is opera. No one's ever really dead until they are.
Well, they say so. No one's ever really gone.
No one's ever really. Yeah, Luke even tells Rey that. But no, So let's get to what we've expected, and that's came way sooner than I thought, and I am actually glad about it, and we'll get to it. I'm glad that we got to Vader early, because now we've got 3 more episodes. That I don't know what's going to happen. And I think that's the smart thing that they did here, maybe than they tried to do with Boba Fett, just to fulfill all that expectation. There's certain things we know are going to happen. And we all knew that Hayden Christensen was part of the project. They couldn't hide that. And The Mandalorian benefits from that, from not having but now The Mandalorian is a victim of its own success as well.
Right.
But, we're talking Solo, any of these legacy characters, as we've talked about before, a friend of ours coined the term, at least in our group, and I definitely agree with it. These legacy, legendary characters, Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, there's always going to be criticism.
Lando, when they do the Lando show, it's going to have its own pitfalls.
Which I'm so glad they're doing, by the way. But we'll I can't wait to talk about Lando. No, we don't talk about Lando. But
that's a meme that's going to happen.
But I mean, having Obi-Wan and Vader actually face off.
Yeah.
I crazy. Like it was I was in shock actually. It
Yeah.
was so I expected like, oh, they're gonna meet but Obi-Wan's gonna get away. No, it was a full blown ass kicking on Obi-Wan, just getting literally dragged through the mud of their past. The flames,
drug through the flames,
through the flames and the fire of their past.
Man,
I mean, they're hitting it hard.
I read an article this morning, interview with Ewan McGregor, and he talked about how he's never played against Darth Vader. Mm-hmm. He played against Hayden.
Yeah, against Anakin.
So his first time apparently come against Darth Vader shooting this was this scene where he's crouching through and crawling through.
And he's an old school fan. Vader.
And Darth Vader, comes at him and and he's like, I was terrified.
Right.
Darth Vader is scary. He's scary again. He was scary in I almost said Clone Wars. He's scary in Clone Wars. He's
Rebels. They do him very well. Scary in Rebels.
Rogue One.
The
hallway scene was terrifying. This just amped up what Darth Vader is.
We're seeing peak Vader.
Yeah.
We're seeing peak like it's almost like that moment in Rogue One is the last time he really lets himself go.
Right.
And then it's kind of once he realizes his kids are out there and he blew up his daughter's planet and he tried to shoot down his son and his son blew up his Death Star.
Yeah.
Then it's like a sad dad Vader.
Yeah.
But this is like
my kids keep breaking all my toys.
Yeah. This is Vader who's just phoning it in. He's retired. I'm almost to that level Vader. But no, this is the Vader we're seeing in Obi-Wan Kenobi is peak Vader, like peak of his powers. Everything, just like they're doing Luke in The Mandalorian. Everything that we've come to expect, they're trying to do that. And of course, some people are going to have a criticism about that. But they would have a criticism about it. And I'm glad that they didn't do this. If they toyed with us like I expected them to do and drug out the Obi-Wan Vader fight into episode 6, I think I still would have enjoyed it, but
you would have anticipated it, and
I would have been ignoring. So now, again,
the rest of the story can happen.
I'm excited to learn about this third sister and her story arc.
Reva's story is going to be amazing. I'm pretty sure we're going to get such an amazing story out of her character.
So let's talk about her for a second. I think that I personally think the way they're setting her up is for some sort of redemption arc.
Yeah,
I think that. That's why we saw the scene, the flashback in the temple, where she tells all the other Padawans to run.
Yeah.
So I believe.
I think that's.
I think there's basically, to use the perfect Star Wars term, there's still good in her.
Yes.
I think there's still good in her. I think there's hints of it even in the first episode when they capture that first Jedi on Tatooine that tries to contact Kenobi. I think that the way she just wanted to kill him once she realized the Inquisitor, because the Inquisitor says right before she tries to kill him, and then he has to stop her with that Kylo Ren darkseid move. But I think he's about, he says to prepare him for Inquisition.
Yeah.
And so she knows Inquisition is they're going to torture him until he tells them everything they want to know.
Either get all the information out of him or turn him into one of them.
Right. And so I think she's trying to put him out of his misery. She's playing the long game. She's definitely gone to the dark side.
Oh, yeah.
But
She's playing the Sith game to the hilt.
Right. And if you know your Star Wars comics, I think that they're basing her story off a lot of Quinlan Voss's.
Who now apparently officially exists.
Well, they mention him in Revenge of the Sith. They say Master Voss is on the last two Jedi that are doing stuff in Revenge of the Sith. Episode 3 at the end of the Clone Wars before Order 66 is Kenobi and Voss.
Yep.
And Quinlan Voss has been a fan favorite. He's survived
weird background character.
He's survived Legends. People have been saying that they've been peppering him in since episode 1. Supposedly he's in a background shot. I don't think it's him, but apparently they. But so this is a character who has gone undercover. His storyline was he went undercover to infiltrate dark side stuff by pretending to go to the dark side, and then of course he did go to the dark side and came back. So he's like an early pre-episode 1, 2, and 3 even he existed sort of redemption arc akin to Anakin Skywalker's, but like a little bit younger.
Well, I mean, and there were a lot of Jedi that were doing that at that time. If you read the stories, I mean, Dooku was the same way. He was walking that kind of weird, a lot of people in Star Wars like to call it a gray Jedi that doesn't technically really exist, but does.
Well, same thing with Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon was kind of an
middle of the
outlier.
road, yeah,
He was an
yeah.
outlier
Yeah.
guy. He wasn't the middle of the road.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan Kenobi kind of is your prototypical cookie
Right.
cutter Jedi.
Right.
But even he inherited some of his, as Yoda says, sound like Master
Yeah.
Qui-Gon to
Yeah.
you.
But let's get back to Reva, because
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that they're setting her up. She's on a revenge track.
Yes.
She wants to get as close to Vader as possible because she was in the temple. She watched Vader kill the younglings. She wants to get next to Vader and kill Vader.
And that's what I think is going to happen.
I'm pretty sure that's what's
Yeah.
happening. I'm pretty sure she was the Padawan at the beginning. I'm pretty sure her.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure her whole point is that she's.
Well, it's the only one. It's really the only one that takes charge. She's obviously featured.
Yeah.
The one they go, what do we do?
Yeah.
And she says, we run.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's also the hint in episode 1 when they're kind of dressing her down because she's too ambitious.
Yeah.
He says, you came to us.
Yeah.
So we know that about her,
Yeah.
about Reva's character too. Reva didn't get captured by the Inquisitors and
Yeah.
turned
Yeah.
like Vader did with
she
others.
has an intentional
She
path
stepped
that
out of
she's-
the
yeah.
shadows. She stepped out of the shadows to join them.
Yeah.
So I think there's more there. I think, and that's why I'm excited about these next 3 episodes. Is now we've seen Vader and Obi-Wan fight,
Yeah.
so now we can all go,
Yeah.
and just
No, we can't. That's
watch
terrifying.
the show. I mean, yeah, but I mean now there's
Yeah.
I wish Boba Fett had gotten here sooner, where it did everything I expected in the first 2 episodes or
Yeah.
3 episodes.
Yeah.
Show me how he got out of the Sarlacc pit.
Yeah.
Show me how he got his armor back.
Yeah.
Show me peak Boba Fett,
Yeah.
and then I can pay attention to a story I don't know, which I think people are unfair to the Obi-Wan and Boba Fett show in that regard.
Yeah.
There's definitely some criticisms like you and I have. We don't like talking about the stuff we wish we could see, because the stuff we're getting
Yeah.
is good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in a world where I got exactly everything that I wanted, would it be awesome? It probably would be, because I have really fun Star Wars ideas. Would other people like them? Probably not.
Right.
Would I be entertained by watching everything that I imagine on the TV? Probably not.
Even when you and I talk, we'll talk about a scenario,
Yeah.
and you'll go, I would do it that way, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty good, Thor, but I could do it better.
Yeah, yeah,
But, so
yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
I mean,
But I mean, just everyone in the show. Moses Ingram, great job. I don't know her name. The little girl that's Leia is just knocking it out of the ballpark.
she's. I enjoy
I love her writing.
Yeah.
She's a great little actress.
They're doing Leia justice. It's a great turn on the lone wolf and cub
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
where we're getting we're getting the older wizened bitter old Jedi.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be him and Luke. I'm so glad they did it with Leia. I'm
well,
so glad.
and it's we're getting all that backstory that we haven't had with Obi-Wan. That everyone's always postulated, oh, what happened to Obi-Wan during that 10, 20 years?
He was a sand tuna farmer.
Yeah, but like just getting that backstory of Leia, how she is force sensitive. She's really force sensitive. She's doing stuff that she doesn't understand, and she's attuned to stuff that's
Right.
just leading her on this trajectory of like she could be an
Well,
incredible.
she's definitely Palpatine level powerful
Yeah.
in the way Palpatine is. Like,
Yeah.
sure, can she wield a lightsaber? They show that in Rise
Yeah.
of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Like, she could. In fact, she's so good with a lightsaber, she was like, here, get this away from me,
Yeah.
Luke. I'll kill everybody around me.
Yeah.
But she's where her
Yeah,
power really
it's
is.
it's that Lord of the Rings scene where she's like, I'd be a terrible queen.
Yeah,
it's-
Galadriel's
Yeah,
moment, talking about the ring. Yeah, but she, like Palpatine, she can read people. She can manipulate people.
Yeah.
She knows. She's super power. She's a Skywalker,
Yeah.
but in that way.
Yeah. Yeah, whereas Luke gets all the outward characteristics, she gets all of Anakin's smarts, his
Empathy
his,
and, yeah.
his ambitiousness, his recklessness. Luke, I mean, honestly, if you look at Luke plays a lot of things really, really safely. He plays a lot of things really close to the chest. He's very outward with what he does. It's pushing things, it's moving things, it's manipulating things. Yeah, he's a great pilot, but I'm willing to bet that Leia's probably just as great of a pilot.
Well, yeah. I mean, she does fly the Falcon,
Yeah.
in the shows and
So-
stuff, and yeah. So she's a force of her own, and also, getting we've gotten lots of stories about Luke Skywalker. setting up Leia and making me care about Leia and her parents and
Yeah.
Alderaan. The
Yeah.
more we need to see Alderaan,
Yeah.
because that's going to make that moment in Episode 4 that is always a classic moment. But if you're looking for, to really like have some deep feels about a place, we've never, Alderaan obviously looks like Earth.
Yeah, it really only grabs you because you're like, oh, that looks like
that
my
looks
planet,
like Earth.
and it
Yeah,
blew up.
it was like the one planet in the Star Wars universe that's just like Earth.
Yeah, yeah.
And the Empire destroyed it.
Yeah,
Now you have to go to a planet where it's just sand.
Yeah.
Or just water.
You can't have a valid ecosystem
No.
in Star Wars. It has to.
No, the Empire took that from us.
Yeah, they strip mined and blew it up, and then it's,
very good.
yeah,
Good point.
Yeah, which I mean was cool seeing in this episode. It's watching the decline of the Republic. It's strip mining planets. It's seeing.
Yeah, we see that in Mandalorian too.
It's seeing the battle flag of the Republic flown on the back of some guy's pickup truck driving down the road.
Yep.
It's it's a hand painted Imperial insignia that tells you where the galaxy's going.
Yeah.
Yes, is Star Wars being political? Star Wars has always been political.
Always.
I hope you know that.
You weren't paying attention. If you think Star Wars is woke or political, then you haven't been paying attention since 1977.
Same thing with people complaining about Flea, who we need to talk about Flea in a minute because you have a great thing.
Yeah.
If you're complaining that there's celebrity cameos in Star Wars, you're not watching Star Wars.
Yes.
I mean, Daniel Craig. Ewan McGregor alone is a cameo.
So I don't know.
Natalie
I don't know if you know
Portman
this. I don't know if you know this, but there's an awesome cameo from a very famous British actor in the very first Star Wars movie from Lawrence of Arabia. They had Sir Alec Guinness makes a brief cameo in Star Wars Episode 4.
Peter Cushing.
Yes.
Van
Helsing, also a guy famous for playing Van Helsing. So get over it.
Yeah. But let's talk about Flea for a second, because you had an amazing theory.
Yes, I woke up the other day.
I have some things to show you that I found online.
Okay. The other day I woke up, I called you, and I said, wait a minute. Flea is this bounty hunter after Leia in Obi-Wan. Mm-hmm. Okay. Obi-Wan takes place about the same time as Solo.
Right now, Solo is working for that slug lady.
Right. In the Solo movie, Han Solo references when he's doing the Kessel Run and they have to slam down on that asteroid.
Yeah.
And where he breaks all their landing gear.
Right.
He breaks it down from like the 5 landing gear to the 3 that we see in Star Wars.
Yeah.
He says, I learned this move from a friend of mine, Needles, back on Corellia, and then he mentions he died, but maybe Needles didn't die because Needles is also the name of another Flea character from pop culture movies. Needles is a brief antagonist in, I believe, all 3 Back to the Future movies. He harasses Michael J. Fox into doing a drag race, which destroys Marty McFly's hand.
Who ends up crashing.
In the alternate timeline, after Marty McFly fixes everything. Flea also plays a character named Needles in that, which I'm sure is the reference in Solo. So is this character Needles
the same Needles?
The same Needles.
Yeah.
From Han Solo.
Is he the same character?
Yes.
Did Needles crash on Corellia, get off Corellia, reinvent himself as this character who's not named Needles?
Or does he survive the events of Obi-Wan Kenobi, go back to Corellia, teach Han Solo this trick, and die there?
Right. So I found a thing on the official Wikipedia for Needles in Solo. John Kasdan says Needles first mentioned in Solo. Co-writer John Kasdan revealed on Twitter account that Needles is a name referenced by Douglas J. Needles, portrayed by Flea, a character who appeared in the second and third Back to the Future. So that character is officially Flea.
Yes.
Because he's the character from Back to the Future.
Yes.
So my official, I now
so
stand.
It's canon.
I now
canon,
stand
right?
by this.
It's canon, right?
That the guy.
Did you tweet Kasdan?
No, no, not yet. But the guy who's in Obi-Wan, his name is not Needles, but Needles is a moniker.
But Needles is Flea.
Like Solo.
Oh.
Solo's name wasn't Solo. So Needles crashes. Han Solo thinks he dies.
Right.
He leaves Corellia, becomes a bounty hunter, captures Leia from Alderaan, and ultimately meets his doom at the hand of the Inquisitors.
Okay. Yeah.
And he could also, if we really want to twist it, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, could be either the great ancestor or great grandson of Needles from Back to the Future.
I love it. Well, anyway, so that's our homage to Flea. That's Obi-Wan Kenobi. All right, so let's wrap up by talking. Where do you think it's going next? What are we getting from these last 3 episodes?
So,
because I'm excited that I really don't have an answer for that question. I just asked
Obi-Wan
you.
now has to go rescue Leia from the third sister.
Yep. Now, that's interesting you said that. From the third sister or the Inquisitors? Are we about to find something? Because we're going to drop this today. You know, tomorrow is the new episode.
Yeah.
So the next time, you know, by the time this hits, you know, so we're going to either be right or wrong. Does she take her to the Inquisitors, or do we find out what we've been talking about, what we think?
I'm pretty sure she's playing a game where her interest in Kenobi is a way to get her closer to Vader.
Right, and doesn't little Leia need to meet Vader?
Oh,
the way she talks
I need to see her dress him down.
The way she talks to him in episode 4, obviously they've met before.
Yeah.
Because she's just like, oh, I should have known by your foul stench that you were on, you know. So if she doesn't call him stinky and tell him he smells like, you know, barbecue and old socks, you know, then I'm going to be vastly disappointed.
You smell like burnt bantha.
Yeah, you smell like burnt bantha poodoo. Yeah, like she's got to treat him like dad. She's got to eye roll. I want to see her eye roll him. I want to see her.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah,
right.
That has to happen.
Yeah. So I think that's what we're gonna go back to Castle Vader.
Yeah.
I think she's gonna bypass the other Inquisitors and take Leia directly back to Castle Vader.
Yeah.
And that's where Obi-Wan's gonna go rescue her. I mean, Obi-Wan breaks into Castle Vader. I mean, that almost is the Dark Tower, which is one of the movies the original Star Wars is based on.
So he has to break into the castle
to save the princess
on Mustafar.
Yeah,
where they
evil
had their
castle.
Initial fight.
Epic.
We're gonna get a second fight on
Mustafar. Yep.
Where he has to save, instead of Padme, now he has to save Leia from.
Because that's always been a pet theory. I don't know if
that
this
needs to happen.
I don't know if this is canon, but I've always thought in my head that ever since they started showing Castle Vader is built on the spot where Obi-Wan and Anakin finished their fight, right?
I don't know if it is. I think
that's just in my head. I don't know if that's the truth.
Again, you've played the game more than I have. I think in the Vader Immortal games, they talk about it being built on a dark side spire. But that doesn't mean that it couldn't also be on the beach where Obi-Wan.
I just always assumed that he built it as like a mausoleum to himself because Anakin is so extra. But here's our extra helping of Obi-Wan Kenobi. We're definitely going to do another one right after this, and we've got Miss Marvel is also this week.
Miss Marvel's tomorrow. We're getting
moly.
double dipping. I didn't think Disney was doing it to us. They're absolutely doing it to us. We're getting Obi-Wan. We're getting Miss Marvel, and then at the end of the month, in August, we're going to get She-Hulk. And we're also gonna get
and before that, and Thor: Love and Thunder.
Thor: Love and Thunder. Well, I'm just talking about stuff that's gonna hit all at the same time.
Yeah, well, that's gonna be in the middle of that, you know.
So and then you know we briefly discussed it earlier at Celebrations this year. They announced Jedi Survivor is coming out, the sequel to the video game. We're getting a Young Jedi Adventures animated show. We're getting a Tales of the Jedi animated show where
cool. Kind of like What If.
So it's going to be the backstory of Dooku with Qui-Gon. Also intercut with Ahsoka's rise into the temple.
Oh, cool.
Because they showed some screen art of
pre Clone Wars Ahsoka,
pre Jedi Ahsoka.
Oh,
a little baby Ahsoka being taken by the Jedi Order.
Oh, cool.
We got announced second season of Star Wars Visions. We got the release date. We're next couple of months we're gonna get Bad Batch season 2.
Oh man.
You know, somewhere down the pipe, 2023, 24, maybe 25. I don't think they've announced the year yet. We're getting Taika Waititi's Star Wars.
Right, which they announced is gonna take place after Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
So continuing the saga.
Yeah.
Wow.
And one thing we didn't really talk about in this episode, we didn't really hit on it on the last episode. I really hope that we see more of these characters peppered through Kenobi, but we got a character that was a clone commando,
right?
That looked, wearing the 501st armor. So he's one of Anakin's troopers,
begging for money on
somebody else.
random planet.
Somebody else showed that in one of the scenes where Obi-Wan's going back to his cave when he's on the skiff, that they think that Tamura Morrison played one of the characters that was like 3 people down and across the skiff from him.
Just random clones.
So there's
who've
clones
escaped.
peppered throughout the galaxy.
Right.
Because as you see in Bad Batch, the Empire decided, well, screw these guys.
Yeah. What it was about like what 5 years after episode 3 they start phasing them out into the stormtrooper program.
I really hope they're peppered through. I loved seeing that again. I know the community really wants to see Obi-Wan interact with Cody and that'd be cool.
But we are getting a season 2 of Kenobi. So there's plenty of time to have a Captain Rex or Captain Cody Obi-Wan rematch.
Yeah.
Because that was also other thing too is I kind of think that Cody missed him on purpose.
Yeah.
In episode 3 during Order 66,
absolutely.
It was almost like he's like, but I don't know. That's just my heart talking. But that would be a very sad.
It shows that there were clones that were fighting the programming. I mean, we see it in the end of the Clone Wars.
Well, they started
with
in the Clone Wars,
so
almost from the get-go in the Clone Wars cartoon. Having rewatched it, they start that storyline with the chips going wrong and the malfunctions, and somebody, that it's a hidden program that random people. It's basically explaining like how could the Jedi or nobody find out that these clones have this like trigger, but anyway, lots to talk about.
We digress.
Yes, we applesauce and bologna.
Yeah.
Till next time.
Yeah. All right, guys.